I wanna be like you. I wanna walk like you, talk like you do. You say it's true. Connect like me. And life is you.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to SoCal Exploring, and today we're going to be diving deep into horror, creepy horror, but Disneyland horror? That's right, guys. We're all used to family fun, good old Disneyland, and family, kiddish, Disney, all that good stuff. But did you know, in the depths of Hong Kong, there's a Disneyland resort that has a haunted maze every single year and has had haunted attractions since 2007. Well, if you didn't know, I'm going to be telling you guys all about the different attractions that they've had throughout the various years and the current ones, and explaining all the mazes that they've had over the years, because guys, this is not like Disney. This is Disneyland haunted houses. This is demented Disney movies. You guys aren't going to want to miss this video. So with that being said, let's hop right into the video. First and foremost, though, make sure to follow me on Instagram at SoCal Exploring Media to keep up to date with all of my pictures and Instagram stories and theme park news, all on there, and on Twitter at SoCal Exploring. You can also find my website, www.socalexploring.com. So let's start off in 2007 when it all started, the Main Street Haunted Hotel. This was located on Main Street, USA. Like I said, it opened in 2007, and this was a Halloween event specific attraction. Meaning this was only during the Halloween season. The cool thing about this attraction was it was based on the original concepts for the Haunted Mansion. So I don't know if you guys have seen like history videos based on the Haunted Mansion, but there's a lot of old concepts of what the mansion was supposed to look like and the kind of detail and theming around the old Haunted Mansion concepts that it was supposed to be. That is what this haunted hotel was basically based on. The ghost of Victoria Maxwell roamed the halls, haunting guests that dared to enter the mysterious haunted hotel, and she would terrorize you and make you get out. So this attraction, to put it more in a detailed perspective, used a lot of practical effects. I believe there are a few scare actors in there, but it was really Disney's first take on a haunted house. With that, Disney decided to bring their second Halloween attraction, which was called Demon Jungle, and this maze was located in Adventureland this time. Now this maze had a different backstory to it. Basically, a bunch of adventurers went out and were adventuring, and they set up camp on this ancient burial ground of these demons in the jungle, and obviously these demons did not take kind of heart about that, so they sought vengeance. So they terrorized these adventurers, and you guys being the adventurers walking through this attraction, the guests who experienced this attraction were the adventurers, and the demons sought to wreak havoc on you and scare the living hell out of you. And that's exactly what they did. This also used a lot of practical effects and a lot of different scenes and showrooms, and this one was definitely a fan favorite and definitely topped the Main Street Haunted Hotel. It just got better and better as we go on, which brings us to our next one. By the way, Demon Jungle is a little bit different, and it ran from 2008 to 2010 when it got replaced by none other than the Revenge of the Headless Horseman that opened up in 2011. Now keep in mind, like I said before, these are only Halloween time attractions. These aren't full-time attractions. These are only Halloween time attractions. On this terrifying maze, the Headless Horseman's head was put on display in a sideshow by an adventurer. Now, the Headless Horseman did not like this at all. So, what did he do? He took out all of his anger and all his violence on the different carnival acts, the different sideshow acts. He killed them and tormented them and all that stuff. I know, guys, and as you're going through this video right now, you're probably like, what? Disney did this? Yes, Disney did this. Type it into your YouTube browser and I'm sure you'll find actual footage from it, if I'm not already playing footage of it on the screen and showing pictures. But this was an actual thing, guys. So the Revenge of the Headless Horseman was basically like a maze based around a sideshow, and there was clowns in it and such, and obviously all circus acts. And it was a Headless Horseman taking out his anger on all the carnival acts and the adventurer that put his head up for display in the sideshow. There's also a nod to Madame Leota in there, I believe. I read that somewhere on the Disney fandom, the Disney wiki. And there's a nod to Madame Leota there too. So that must have been pretty cool for guests to experience, assuming that they already experienced the Haunted Mansion before that at different parks. But that must have been really cool, and that would have been something that I would have seen. Out of these three that I've already described, I think that would have been my favorite, especially if it had that nod to Madame Leota. That in particular maze experience ran till 2014 each Halloween season. In 2012, Hong Kong Disney introduced a new maze experience, which was the Graves Academy. Now, keep in mind, during the haunt season, they had two different maze experiences, which was the Revenge of the Headless Horseman around this time, and now the Graves Academy. Now, the Graves Academy was an academy as it sounds, but it wasn't just any ordinary academy. It was a demented boarding school, so filled with kids that were scared to death and were seen as the weird kids in school, and this guy, Professor Graves, would torment these kids and like tell them if they didn't follow the rules, and he was going to torment them, and all these kids are all messed up and stuff, and there's characters of wearing the dunce hat and such, and this was just a very demented school maze. I know, not related to Disney at all, but that's what this maze was about. The facade was really cool, guys. The facade and the statue of him standing there, that was pretty cool. Disney did a very good job on that, and I think that would have been one of my favorites as well, the Graves Academy. Seeing the different school showrooms, and there was I guess a dirty cafeteria scene in there as well, and it was just overall a terrifying maze experience, and really put you in that feel of a demented boarding school where all these kids were all messed up and everything, from the professor tormenting them and not letting them leave this demented boarding school. That one was located in Main Street and ran from 2012 to 2014. So now we're getting a little bit closer to the present time. In 2016, Hong Kong Disneyland introduced the Nightmare Experience. Now, this is when I first was introduced to the fact that Disneyland had haunted mazes. I discovered this on YouTube in my browsing history. So this was the Nightmare Experiment, and this is the one that was basically demented Disney movies. This is the one that actually related to Disney movies. So basically, the backstory behind this is this guy, Professor Wu, I believe his name was. He created this experiment, the Nightmare Experiment, and made a portal that goes into a dream world, and this dream world wasn't a dream world, it was a nightmare world. So this included films such as The Princess and the Frog, Pirates of the Caribbean, Toy Story, and Alice in Wonderland. Each showroom had a different demented scene. You started off meeting Dr. Philificer after you went through the portal, and then you went into the Toy Story area, I believe, and then you went into the, after the Dr. Philosopher scene, you went into the Pirates area, and then you went into the Toy Story area, and then you went into the Alice in Wonderland area. Now, hands down, the creepiest part was the fact that these are childhood movies that you grew up with, and now they are horror. Now they are wanting to kill you and torment you. That was the most terrifying part of it, which made for an amazing maze experience for Disney and brought fans back. It was definitely one of the biggest hits for Hong Kong Disneyland as far as their haunted attractions go. So like I said, it featured The Princess and the Frog, Pirates of the Caribbean, Toy Story, and Alice in Wonderland. And I heard that Alice in Wonderland was hands down the most terrifying scene at the very end, because they would use a guest to interact with the crazed Mad Hatter in the maze. That one ran in 2016 and ended in 2016 as well during the Halloween season. And then they brought back the Nightmare Experiment, but this one was called The Maze of Madness. The Nightmare Experiment Continues, which sounds very eerie and very creepy, just the name alone. The Maze of Madness, that sounds extremely terrifying. Backstory behind this one was Professor Wu was back at it again, and basically transported you into a new nightmare. It was the same portal, but new nightmares. So this one featured Pinocchio, Alice in Wonderland again, Monsters Inc., and there was a special scene at the end of the Beast Castle. I forget the backstory to that one, but if you guys look that up, I'm sure you can find the backstory to that one. But that was the four main scenes that you experienced, and the Nightmare Experiment continued. You started off encountering a demented Pinocchio and a beat-up Pinocchio with a sideshow clown in there who worked for the circus that Pinocchio was a part of, and he was basically kidnapping Pinocchio there, and Pinocchio was held hostage and trying to beg for help, but then the clown directed us out into another room, which got us to the Monsters Inc. area, which really didn't make that much sense. I mean, it was cool and all, but was it scary at all? And I mean, I didn't go through it, but it does, from the videos that I've seen, it doesn't look scary. I mean, it just looks like a character meet and greet, but with terrifying music, and you walk down the hall, and then you got into the next room, which was, I mean, I guess that's cool. That was cool. And then you got in the next room, which was the Alice in Wonderland scene. Again, it was a little bit more changed up from the previous year in 2016, but it was the same concept. The Mad Hatter took a guest from the Amazing Experience and used them to interact with them and make the show and attraction more terrifying than it already was. And then, like I said, he went into that bonus scene of the Beast Castle. So that one was the 2017 Maze of Madness. The Nightmare Experiment continues. Now, which brings us to present, 2018, last year. Last year was something a little bit different. It was a journey into Halloweentown. It was to celebrate the movie's anniversary, The Nightmare Before Christmas. And this was more of an experience, more than creepy and terrifying maze. This was more of an experience. You went through the different scenes, basically relived the movie with different effects, different details, and all that such. And like the characters that were there, and Oogie Boogie was there, and Sally and Jack. And this, from what I've seen, is really cool, guys. This was a really cool experience, and if Disneyland was afraid to bring a terrifying experience to California or Walt Disney World, then they wouldn't have to worry about terrifying anymore if they brought something like this down here or in Orlando, because it was more of an experience of the film. So I wish they would bring something down here to Disneyland or Orlando, but unfortunately that probably won't happen. But Journey into Halloweentown was a walkthrough experience again, and it really made you relive the film of The Nightmare Before Christmas. And like I said, it had such amazing sets and such amazing detail from what I've seen. And that which brings us to now, guys, which brings us to 2019. What are they going to do this year? Who knows? All I know is it was very cool reading the backstory of all these mazes, and I hope you guys learned something today about Disney, that Disney's not all family fun and everything, because somewhere in Hong Kong they have demented Disney mazes that are waiting to haunt you. So make sure to go visit Hong Kong Disneyland if you ever get the chance. That's going to do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, and if you're new, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below and turn on those bell notifications to never miss an update and never miss a video. And give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below and start a conversation. What was your favorite haunted attraction that I described in this video from Hong Kong Disneyland? Or do you have another one that you found on Hong Kong Disneyland? Because I know there's a couple other ones that weren't really big enough to make the list. They were more of just like rides rethemed. So there are a couple more. If you want to search them up, I'm sure you can type in your Google browser Hong Kong Disneyland haunted attractions, and they will all pop up. So let me know down in the comment section what your favorite one was, and start a conversation down below. I will be at Monsterpalooza in Pasadena on this Sunday, so I will be there. If you see me, please don't be afraid to come up and say hi. I love when people come up and say hi. It always makes me happy and gives me more motivation to do what I'm doing, which is this YouTube job, and it's been really paying off. Like, I love doing this, and I love making this content for you guys and making content like this for you guys. So if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button, like I said. You can check me out on Instagram at SoCal Exploring Media and at SoCal Exploring on Twitter. And make sure to check out my website, www.socalexploring.com, where I'm writing new blogs and about theme park updates, horror updates, all that good stuff. Last but not least, positivity is key. I love you all. Remember to keep exploring. Peace.